What is going on, everyone? Here we are with a video about Samsung Internet. Now, Samsung Internet on Galaxy devices has continued to impress me, especially the summarize feature, which delivers clean, bullet point formatting and sharp, accurate breakdowns. Now, Samsung's made the move I've been waiting for. It's finally here. It's finally happening. Actually, I didn't think it would happen this soon, but the beta version of Samsung Internet is finally available for Windows PC, whether you're running ARM, Intel, or AMD. Now, there's a huge plus here with Samsung Internet for PC. The layout is going to be very familiar, having a similar appearance to other browsers like Microsoft's Edge or Google's Chrome. And this is going to eliminate any learning curves. I think it's important to emphasize that this is going to be a huge step towards rounding out all of the Samsung ecosystem, and it's going to be a real boost for cross-device workflow. So let's get into it. So we're going to start by opening the web browser that you do currently use, and we're going to enter the address https://browser.samsung.com/beta, and it's going to bring you to this page that you see here. Now here you're going to find more information about the beta. We have this nice cool animation just demonstrating that it works on laptops, tablets, and obviously Samsung smartphones. Then there's an option to join the beta right underneath in a pill-shaped format. And then we have some highlights here which emphasizes that this is a large step for Samsung. First, we're going to have the ability to sync. So securely sync your bookmarks, history, and more with Samsung Cloud. Ideally, this works across all devices that do support Samsung Internet. Then we have Pass, easy and secured sign-in. Keep your password safe and synced across devices with Samsung Pass. And then we have Continue on other device. Continue browsing web page across devices. Again, this supports the idea of multi-device workflow. Huge highlight here. I'm very excited about this. And that's about it here. So we're going to scroll up again. We're going to see that option in the pill-shaped format, join the beta program. We're going to click on that. And then we have this pop-up dialog box. It just states to participate in the beta program, you need to be signed up to the Samsung developer portal. This isn't a huge issue. Don't get concerned. It was fairly easy for me to do. But there is some information here. We have a link provided, https://developer.samsung.com. And it just gives you a bit more context of what's going on here. So again, you have to be signed up to the Samsung developer portal with a Samsung account registered in South Korea or the United States. That looks like what's currently being supported. So if you live outside of those regions, it sounds like you can't download the Samsung Internet Beta for your Windows PC at the moment. And then we just have a question at the end of this disclaimer, I guess if you want to call it that. Would you like to continue? We're going to click continue here. Then the page is going to refresh to this page here, the Samsung account page, and you'll have to sign in. Now you can sign in using either your Samsung account or your Google account. There is a sign in with Google option right towards the bottom of this box here. Now, if your setup is similar to mine, you're going to want to have a device nearby for two-step verification. You're going to get a code that you're going to need to insert into the page that you see here. Now, before you get that code, you'll get a pop-up on one of your devices. It's a Samsung account. Are you trying to sign into your Samsung account? We're going to tap yes. And then we'll get the code and then we'll enter it onto the page that you see here. Now, this is going to refresh the page to the page that you see here, Samsung Developer. And then it just has more context of what's going on here. Samsung Internet Beta for Windows. That's a deeper dive into the page itself. Now, again, I did do this install of the Samsung Internet Beta on my Samsung Galaxy Book for Edge, and I had to get approved, so I think you're not going to see this page initially. You have to wait to be approved, but mine was pretty instant, and then I was brought to this page. And I just want to take a quick look and see if there is anything else going on here that might be useful information. Interesting enough, we do have this box towards the bottom of the page where you can withdraw from the partner service. It says if you perform this action, all your partnership information will be deleted and you will need to reapply to the partner service. So ideally, if you want to exit this program once you've been approved, that's where you would go. But again, we're focused on the Samsung Internet Beta for Windows. We have this blue pill to the right. Go to service. We're going to click on that. And this is going to refresh the page once again. We have a Samsung developer page, and it says Samsung Internet for PC. And I just want to take a quick look and see if there's anything useful here worth mentioning. For years, Samsung Internet has been the trusted browser for Galaxy devices and a leader in the Android ecosystem. I certainly agree with that. We are now taking the next step in our journey, bringing that browsing experience to Windows PCs. And again, I'm very excited about this. I think this is huge. Thank you for joining us on this exciting journey. Tuck the words right out of my mouth. Your participation will help us shape the future of Samsung Internet, and we are looking forward to hearing your thoughts and feedback. And also, if you're encountering any issues or have ideas or suggestions, please contact browser@samsung.com. And then if we scroll down just a little bit, we'll have that emphasis on why Samsung Internet Beta being on Windows PC is a huge step in the right direction. I also want to mention, I think it's interesting and it's a good thing that they didn't just allow the Samsung Internet Beta to be available on Galaxy books that run Windows. This is available for all Windows PCs for the most part, and I think that's a really good thing. So we're going to scroll down a little bit more, and this is important here. So we do have our download options. First, we're going to have the Samsung Internet Beta setup for Intel or AMD. Then underneath this, we're going to have, I would say, the less common option, which is why it's listed last. Samsung Internet Beta Setup, Windows on ARM. Now on my Galaxy Book 4 Edge, that's Windows on ARM. I already did that. So I tried that method and it worked fine on my Galaxy Book 4 Edge, but I initially did make the mistake of just selecting the first one because I wasn't reading. And that was installing, but I never tried it out, so I don't know if that first option, the Intel AMD option, will work on Windows on ARM devices. So again, we're installing this on my Lenovo Legion Pro 7i Gen 9 with an Intel processor. So that's the option I'm going to select. Then we're going to select our download location and click Save. And this saves really quick. And then we'll go to our download here, click on that, and then we'll click on the file that was just downloaded. And this is the start of it. Now it's going to look very basic here, very generic looking. Welcome to Samsung Internet. We're going to click Install. And I'm going to let this go. Now on my Samsung Galaxy Book 4 Edge, this did take a little bit of time to actually install the browser, but it's hard to remember also because I made the mistake again of selecting the Intel AMD option the first time around for that device when I should have selected Windows on ARM. But this looks like it's going pretty fast here for the Lenovo Legion Pro 7i Gen 9. And it looks like it kind of refreshed here. Welcome to Samsung Internet, a fast and simple web browser that puts your privacy and security first. By continuing, you agree to the terms and conditions and privacy notice. Underneath this, we have an option that you can check. It looks like it's pre-checked already. I agree to send error reports automatically, optional. And we're just going to click continue. And this is going to ask us if we have a Samsung account. We can sign in to do more in Samsung Internet, which is something that you ideally want to do, especially if you have Samsung tablets or smartphones. And again, you want to continue this workflow across multiple devices. And again, we get a further emphasis on why you want to do this. So we're going to have sync with your other devices, automatically sync bookmarks, settings, and more with your phone, tablet, and other PCs. And then continue browsing on the go, move web pages from your PC to your phone or vice versa with a single tap. I think that's going to be wonderful. And then we're going to sign in. Now I do have this pop-up here asking always let Samsung account run in the background. Allowing too many apps to run in the background might use more power and reduce battery life. This app says Samsung account needs to run in the background to use network and send notifications. So I'm going to click yes. And then we have the Samsung account sign in. So you can sign in using your phone's camera, your tablet camera, and you can scan this QR code here, or you can sign in with Google or with your email. Now I'm going to choose the sign in with Google option, but I believe I did try the scanning of the QR code when I was setting up the Samsung Internet Beta on the Galaxy Book 4 Edge. Then we have this pop-up here, let Samsung account enumerate your passkeys. To change this later, go to the settings. We're going to click yes. Now, if you do have two-step verification, again, you may get a pop-up on another device where you're going to have to basically say that it's you that's signing in on this device for the Samsung Internet Beta. You may also get other pop-ups such as a request to access your phone's camera. So on my other device, I'm going to tap yes, it's me. And we're just going to select continue. But just to give you an idea of what's going on here, it says Samsung account already has some access. Make sure you trust Samsung account. Review Samsung account's privacy policy and terms of service to understand how Samsung account will process and protect your data. To make changes at any time, go to your Google account. Learn how Google helps you share data safely. And we could select continue. A lot of verification here. So I have my verification code. I'm going to insert that here. And then you have the option to import your bookmarks and other data. It says make Samsung Internet your own by importing bookmarks and other data from your old browser. You can select a browser from the list below. Now I like to just completely disregard this, so I'm going to click skip in a moment, but you could choose Edge, Chrome, or Internet Explorer, maybe other options if you have those installed as well, but again, I'm going to click skip. Then we have an ad blocking option. We could turn this on. Use Samsung Internet's built-in ad blocker to prevent ads from interrupting your browser experience. We have a pill-shaped item here with ad blocker. We can click on that, change the slider to blue, and then we can click start. And now we're finally in the Samsung Internet Beta browser. We're greeted with this dialog box, which starts with your browser, your way. It highlights some of the features here. And again, there's going to be ideally more features being added, which we'll get to in a moment. But as time goes by, it sounds like Samsung's going to try to make this a truly smarter browser. So first we're going to have summarize and translate web pages, which are features of Browsing Assist. Now that's an AI feature that summarizes and translates web pages. Then we have an emphasis on keeping your browsing data synced, get your open tabs, browsing history, passwords, and more on any of your other devices. Again, that's huge. It supports that cross-device workflow. And then we have open sites in the sidebar. I actually like this. I haven't played around with it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. So basically, we're going to have this sidebar here, and we can place our favorite sites in it without leaving the current page. And we're going to tap got it. Now, before we go any further, I want to say that this is going to serve as my review of the browser, an initial review, if you will. And I want to say that this looks very familiar. If you've used Microsoft's Edge or Google's Chrome, this has a very similar layout. Once again, there isn't going to be a steep learning curve here, which I really like. Now this is going to be the home page. You'll see that we have a Google search bar, and then we'll have right underneath, it looks like tabs from our other devices. And in the top right hand corner, we're going to have the weather, the temperature, the location, which that's off. We're going to have to update that. We can do so by clicking on this. And then we get a pop-up box, allow your location to be used. Now I did have to do this on the Galaxy Book 4 Edge as well because for some reason Washington was selected. And then we'll click allow. And I'm going to refresh the page just to see if this updates here. It looks like it's updating. But to the right of that, we're going to have the option to customize this home page, which we can click on. That opens up a side panel of homepage settings. So we have the new tab page. We can include from other devices, a privacy report. I'm just going to turn that on, see how that works with time, and most visited. Then we have our widgets. Now, not a lot going on here. Again, we have the weather. We can add a clock as well, so I'm going to add that. And then we have the option to customize our wallpaper. So we can use the option that we have now, or we can customize. And it doesn't look like there's going to be anything else here, so I'm going to click the X for this in the top right hand corner. But on this sidebar, we're going to have synced devices. It looks like a phone. We can expand that. Now currently my S25 Ultra is showing, which is the device, by the way, that I'm using to record myself. I'm using it as the webcam for my Windows PC. I think that's a pretty cool highlight to just mention there. But we can access some apps from the device. I think that's really cool. We can close that, and there might be other things you could do with that as well, which I'm going to try to experiment with. Then we have a calendar, so we can expand our calendar. Now, I tried to do this on the Samsung Galaxy Book 4 Edge. I don't know if it's actually working. It didn't really show all my events that are on my calendar from my S25 Ultra, but maybe I needed to refresh. So I'm going to try to set this all up a little later. So I'm going to try to close that. You can just click on that same icon and that closes it. And then underneath this, we have the option to add a site. If we click on this, we get a list of suggestions of sites that we can add to basically the side panel here. So I'm going to close it out by clicking on the icon once again. That works really well. Apologies if the camera cut out here, but now we have these two features that are within Browsing Assist added to this top panel here. Again, they're going to be translate and summarize. Now I have tried other browsers that do have a summarize feature, and it works fairly well, but I just want to clarify that I like Samsung Internet's more because it uses bullet points, it doesn't add emojis, it's just very clear and straightforward and clean looking. In my opinion, it just looks very modern. But this is the Samsung Internet Beta browser. I'm going to do some customization here, but I'm liking the way it looks. It looks really good. Again, it looks very familiar to other browsers like Microsoft Edge or Google's Chrome. So the learning curve shouldn't be too crazy here. And again, this is a huge step because it just supports that nice cross-device workflow, which we're always looking to maximize. So that's the Samsung Internet Beta for Windows. Familiar feel, fresh potential, and a hint of AI. Now, I think this is just going to be the beginning, and I want to brush up on that really quick here. So I'm going to switch back to the Chrome browser, and we're going to look for a little section here. And it's going to be right here. It says this beta program unlocks a more connected experience across mobile and PC while setting the stage for more intelligent browsing experience to come. Looking ahead, Samsung Internet's capabilities will redefine how users interact with the web, evolving from a PC browser that waits for input to an integrated AI platform that understands users while protecting personal data at every level. And I think this is the idea behind AI, is that it ideally will be in the future, we don't necessarily respond to products respond to us, whether this be hardware or software. And it seems like Samsung's hinting that Samsung Internet is going to be going in this direction ideally, which I think could be pretty cool. So that is it for the video. Hit that like button if you're syncing across devices, and drop a comment if you're going to be using the Samsung Internet Beta on your PC. If you're not, or if you're using a different browser and you're going to continue to use a different browser, let us know what that is in the comments down below. And until next time, keep your tabs tidy and your summaries sharp. As always, thanks for watching, and may the universe flow in your favor. And until next time, Leon checking out.
Yeah.